Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is a scene for Living World of Darkness, Changeling Venue. Here we have Ephraim, or the entity that is now calling itself Ephraim. Uh, we are currently in Manhattan, a studio booth where individuals are busying around the streets, walking, going on about their business. Today it's a very hazy, very chilly for September weather as individuals are carrying their umbrellas and going on about their daily activities. Um, Ephraim is curiously busy at work as he is fumbling with things, and outside the shop is covered, lots of white, nothing set to ideas. There is a bunch of mannequins and different things disheveled and most definitely out of order as nothing has been solidified. The only thing that seems to be doing is a very simple spinning wheel and a set of crafter's needles and a leather slicing tool for other industrious projects. As Ephraim leaves his little part, he waits at the front to greet one Alice Amari for their agreed upon meeting.
Alice is coming up to the place. She is dressed not in her usual girl next door look or even a Sunday best. She's instead kind of done up like almost a little bit of a princess look to her. Kind of a sparkling dress, frills on it, little cap sleeves, pair of sunglasses on. Her hair is done up in a ponytail, and she is the this bounce to her well-heeled step.
Seeing her, he will sort of outreach his hands, for her to greet her, and more of a mock show of affection, but not dangling to make it awkward. And so, how are you?
She pulls off the sunglasses. Better than I've ever been.
Right? Sleeping, it's like real good.
It
But
does everything.
it's really nifty. As me, oh my gosh, I just need to. I don't. I feel bright as rain. Um, this way.
She'll follow him in.
You'll see like lots of things are covered in white sheets, and it just seems that this is a recently new endeavor. And Ephraim will just go busying himself getting measuring tapes and whatnot and his pad. Alice would recognize there are bundles of. It seems to be almost glittering and jumping and sort of weaving itself in a very peculiar fashion. It seems to be shining in different colors of the rainbow. And what looks to be, which looks to be like rather ornate spindles, as it's just been carefully set to the side. And he will come back with his pad and his measuring tape. I hope you didn't take too long. I didn't take too long.
You didn't take too long at all. She's looking around the shop, hands clasped behind her back. The
Mhm.
dress she's in from the rear, it's a very, yeah, it's One of those frilly designs. There's a set of buttons rather than zippers going up the back. A long, large ornamental bow. She turns back head towards him now, smiling. This is going to be amazing. You said to let you know what my look and my style is, and well,
Hmm.
I realized the other day that while I don't embrace every aspect of it, this is me.
So you consider yourself a princess? As he kind of just starts circling you, scribbling notes.
Straight out of a storybook. I had to borrow the costume from, uh, well, the studio, but
That's fine. Have you gone to a fitting? Do you know how these things work?
all the time for all the outfits and everything they put me in on stage.
Okay, so I'm going to need you to take off any rings, medallions, things that could get caught.
She nods her head, taking off her wedding ring, which is literally all she carries on her.
Well, he will put forward a little small ceramic disc, and you can put it right here, so it's within eyeshot. So,
She does so, smiling, not a care in the world.
and with that, he begins sort of taking her measurements, writing things down, and tell me, what inspired you? Scribble, 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 scribble. To I guess Alice. Well, the persona that is Alice. This pop sensation. I did enjoy the the performance. It's not my usual taste, but it's different.
It's not normally mine either. My husband loves it, but personally, my favorite stuff is heavy metal.
Ah, he smiles, and so you don't find those two avenues conflicting?
Not at all. The the thing is that who I am on stage, that's that really is for others. Because what brings me one of my greatest joys is making sure others their dreams become a reality. And for a moment when I'm on stage, that's what I am. Their dreams made manifest. It's the closest I can come without breaking the right of ignorance, or like I did at my largest performance recently, break the right of ignorance.
You say that, but we oftentimes put ourselves in dangers to do what's necessary.
Always.
Ignorance or not. I mean, rules keep us safe, but I believe that sometimes a little bit of change is good. It keeps everyone alive and festive as he continues taking the measuring tape around the waist and sort of holding it. Well, I mean, it's different, but do you think you'll get into a lot of trouble?
Not anymore. I'm doing a lot of work to learn to balance it and how to be a dream without breaking reality itself. Count Leone recently released me from my promise to stay in Brooklyn. I'm not Brooklyn, Queens, because I had demonstrated I could do so without violating the sheet.
Come about?
I mean, after all, I You and the others did a great job with
It
security.
it's to be expected. It wasn't that big of a deal, honestly. Now we're on the subject of, I suppose, doing things for the betterment. I've never seen so many commoners concerned about status and prestation. It's really awkward.
Well, they're not actually commoners anymore. I mean, ever since they got elected, they hold the title of knight, or the equivalent title to knight.
Well, um, it just feels not wrong, but it feels as if they need more direction.
Brooklyn handles itself for the most part.
Um, there was I was overwhelmed the first time the subject was brought up, but I think I can put words to what I'm feeling. Um, he continues to scribble on the notepad. It's sort of like when children say they want to be grown and adults and they want things done their way, and they oftentimes go out trying to prove their newfound independence in adulthood, and they quickly realize that some of the things we do because, parents speaking, they do because it was necessary. Sort of as if doing something as a counterbalance to a set authority is reckless. I guess what unnerves me is the amount of recklessness I see.
You mean the rushing in, no real plan, um, kind of swinging around with a sword until everything's solved?
I mean, it works, but you can't take that method to every possible avenue.
Well, Brooklyn is Brooklyn and William are two different entities, but William has a lot of say. For him, because the only tool he really has on his belt is a hammer, that's how he solves a lot of the problems. It's why I hired multiple people with each with their own expertise for security. William is great at smashing. William's really good at convincing um, to forming a riot.
Mhm.
But look at yourself.
What about
Much
me?
well, you're much more subtle. Um, you come at things from a different perspective. I mean, you're unseelie. That's a complete difference.
Mm.
You know
I,
when
s-
to cut loose.
I often feel that my personal philosophy is that being silly is what people wish the world was, and that's an ideal that's important. But I just think that unseelie is just the harsh reality of what it is. People are selfish. Un- People are selfish, self-serving, and oftentimes their motives are for their own benefit.
Uh, she will nod her head at that. Everyone has a ulterior motive, right?
Mm. I mean, An ulterior motive is important. It makes sure that you have ambition as he continues to scribble, but it just concerns me that I feel as if when people are very passionate about an idea, right? As he sort of takes the measuring tape and kind of stuffs it away in a drawer. Um, it is peculiar to have that certain ideal challenged because echo chambers oftentimes make us feel safe, validated, and our opinions held in high regard. Granted, I do believe that New York proper, the county as it is doing something different. Now, whether or not others accept it or reject it is an animal unto itself. I just think it's dangerous to keep this notion that we've already arrived.
She'll nod her head. I understand what you're saying. Brooklyn attracts a certain type of person. They allow dissent, they allow conflicting ideas, but I mean, unless you're running for their councilman seat that just opened up, they have very particular ideologies on the council. William and I will never agree on method. Outcome, yes, but method, no. He wants a completely different world, one that doesn't look anything remotely like the one we live in. And he agrees. Everyone has an ulterior motive. But he feels that he is the best one in the best position to change things.
A part of me admires that to a degree. He's willing to see something that is in place before his eyes, and I think that's change the very manifestation of what Unseelie stand for. Change. But I still believe that it runs a very interesting line of unchecked passion.
Well, he was able to restrain himself when it came to giving the gifts to Baku.
I guess that says a lot in itself, but don't mind me. These are just my ramblings and my oftentimes cryptic thoughts.
Well, you did a great service for Manhattan. It would really be out of place if I didn't consider things that you had to say.
I mean, you allow me to speak as such as you do is it's new to me, but I respect it. I'm just a knight after all. My duty is to make sure that you're protected, the Baroness and the Baron, not to give my opinions about your daily affairs.
There are times when the opinions of others are that sort of protection, though. Keeps us from getting complacent.
Hmm. Is it really complacent to allow someone to learn a lesson?
It would be complacent of us not to take in all the information we can. That's how Brooklyn happened in the first place. That's what prevented Manhattan from ending in a similar fate. Alice will do is looking at herself in the mirror as she talks, kind of does a slight twirl.
Hmm.
The dress she in is not past her knees. It goes about mid thigh, and so she keeps her hands in place to push it back down,
Hmm.
looking at herself. You know, speaking of new perspectives, I never felt more comfortable in my life, she says, looking at herself and then turning to look at him.
Smile and he says, "There." hmm, What I want to say is that believing and knowing that you sort of have a place, and that every now and then you can show that place, that freedom to someone else. I guess it's a bit liberating. I can agree to that. But less about my metaphysics. Gosh, that's a big word. And what now? This dress that I'm going to make for you. One of my major rules is that if you aren't comfortable in it, then it's garbage. Because I may have ideas and I may have inclinations, but at the end of the day, you're living your life in it. And my thoughts and opinions matter little in that respect. Are you okay with that?
More than okay. I don't normally get as I don't normally get as much of a say. Mm, you know, managers know best on advertising, and that's what being on stage is. But is this going to be? She is looking at some of the debris and the stuff set up around the place. Is
Mhm.
this going to be more of a uh, well? What kind did you want? Is this going to be an evening dress for me, or a new costume, or something I'd be wearing around the freehold?
That is something that we are here to discuss. What do you want?
She thinks, pauses, finger to her lip. Sparkle to stand out. Something I could wear to a nice occasion, but not so dressy I can't wear it if I just feel like looking nice.
Okay, so what you want is sort of this evening dress or gown almost. It's dressy enough where you could attend a formal outing and up class enough, down class enough where you don't feel like you're standing out too much.
Yeah, I think that's a good description.
Um, the next question was rather simplistic. Um, it deserves saying. Do you see yourself gaining or losing any type of weight?
She shakes her head. Nope, not with the current diet I'm on. For the next year and a half, I'm probably going to be this exact weight, give or take a pound or two.
It's important because different styles and different cuts feel differently on the body, and it's not my desire to make you look like a an egg. He smiles.
She tilts her head. An eight.
An egg, more or less, those very hideous designs you can find in wall displays at your clearance aisles and things that must go on budget.
Oh, no, as little money as I have now, that's not an option for casual dress anymore. The thrift store look is kind of out for the J-pop scene.
Okay. Is that your preferred clientele?
No,
Is,
no, it's because when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of money.
mhm.
So, my family's poor. We live in Chinatown, and we did whatever we could to get by. N- Now it's designer clothes, name brands, whoever's sponsoring me this week.
That's important, right? Because I think it's probably you can know it doesn't matter much. It's the reason why nothing actually, everything is all white and nothing has a name yet because I don't have a name. So it's
Well,
kind of
speaking of that,
counterproductive for me to start advertising something when I myself am a blank plate.
and again, we're changing that.
Yeah. I mean, Ephraim Bishop is on the bills that I take, and the substantial scholarships I've received. Apparently, this gentleman has talent, but I just sort of want to make it my own, not feel so much as if I'm robbing something.
I can understand that. Standing on our own 2 feet makes you feel like you earned it.
Not what's a nice way to put it? Resting on your laurels.
She nods.
But yeah. What colors do you like?
You know, yellow, pink, white, light blue. Hate to admit it to myself sometimes, but I mean, as much as I like fighting on the front lines, I still have my favorite colors are decidedly girly.
Girly's fine. It's just not a lot of people can pull off pink.
I like to think I can.
No, I share that sentiment. Another question. Uh, your hair, insofar as I think it does more when you have your hair up like you do now because you can see your face. And I still think that's one of your better qualities.
She nods her head again and looks at herself in the mirror. So, pigtails, ponytail, braids.
Long hair, although it does add a veneer of sexuality, it just doesn't fit you. If I'm going too far, let me know.
No, by all means, you're the artist.
Often I just see sometimes long hair, it can be sexy, but oftentimes people sort of use it as a curtain. Oftentimes, this very melodramatic hiding from the world.
She nods her head again, this time a little bit more slow. Yeah, I can see that. Not like I'm doing that anymore. Hiding is honestly, the last thing I want to do. Not with how successful we were the other day.
No, there was a marketed lack of cowardice on everyone's part. I think the fear was present, but there was no cowardice.
You can't have any courage without fear.
This is true.
So, in addition to being a dressmaker, you're also good with hair.
Mm, it's one of those avenues that I wish I had the time to dabble in. It takes a lot of effort, but being a person such as me that makes clothes for men and women, it often you oftentimes look at the full picture. So imagine this, and this is a really cross description. I mean, we could put a gown on a pig, but it doesn't make it. So you oftentimes have to look at the whole picture before you can make any conclusions.
So, what were you thinking about for style? Mermaid, ball, A-line? What do you think looks best?
Um, he will. Well, I'd have to see it for myself, and I have some markups from my last job. That's in the back. I could bring some stuff out. One for each style, and we can see how it looks on you.
Sounds good. Um, and if you haven't noticed, my preferred styles seem to be A-line and ball, but there's so many that I haven't really tried yet.
Are you saying that your heart is set on a ball gown? He turns like looking at you.
One day, I probably should get a really nice one. I mean, look like a princess around the freehold or whenever I'm in court.
You are very indecisive, Miss Alice. Do you want a ball gown?
She blushes at that. I haven't. Getting to make decisions about my wardrobe is something really new to me, whether it's because I was constrained by money or my job. So, sure, no, yes, I'll take a ball gown.
Sure, yes, no, I don't know. So I'm going to get everything and we're going to get a decision. So he goes back and he comes, with some marketable dresses. Some of it is like high fashion. Some of the stuff that Alice would be very comfortable in. Some name brand stuff. He says, try it on.
And she will unabashedly go to a changing room and try on each one in turn,
Mhm.
coming out to model for him with a classic runway step.
Mhm.
The way she moves, it's it's like she knows exactly what angle to take if someone had a camera on her,
Mhm.
whether it's snapping pictures or getting film.
Mhm. So with that, he is taking his notes as if it's very methodical, and it almost seems as if he's enjoying the very pure moment of the art of it, of appreciating what it is. Um, this is something more for Alice though, but which one does she feel most comfortable in?
Her favorite ones, she loves, for her, definitely it's the ball gown, the
Hmm.
chance to look actually like a princess for a moment.
Hmm. I will say that the A line definitely favors your figure, but I have to say, you feel very comfortable looking like a princess.
It's always been a dream. I never thought I'd actually marry into royalty, but here I am.
Royalty. Hmm. It is, I suppose, royalty in a sense, but he shuffles and it is unique. You're in a unique position.
And now everyone's talking about getting me into a house or recruiting me. So, yeah,
Those are
it's
very big steps.
it is. I never thought I'd be here.
The fact that you are, hmm, that's just a whole nother world of politics.
Yeah, and I'm getting better at it.
It's a trial, most like other things, and you'll either succeed or you'll find your place elsewhere. I always found it a little unnerving that oftentimes she are given place and others simply get to choose. We don't technically get to choose our family. Our family's our family.
Is it something that's ever weighed heavily on you?
It's almost as if you said something almost hurtful, but it looks as if it catches you off guard. It's more or less caught Ephraim off guard, as if he sort of remembered something. It's I suppose I never really allowed myself to think like that. It feels as if there could be other things, maybe, But I feel as if this was a I remember it being a difficult choice, but not my first choice, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Hopefully, he rubs his temples. It will make more sense as the days go on. If it ever looks like somebody is having a not really a panic attack, but they just had a really bad headache, you just see him sort of rubbing his temples.
Alice is just quietly watching.
But I'm being a little more about you. So, how do ball gown? That's very interesting. You look good in it. Were there any particular colors that you fancied, or do you just want a combination of all three?
Well, I mean, my favorite color overall is yellow, if I had to pick one.
Hmm. Yellow. Hmm. I like that.
Whenever we get around to making a more casual dress, I'll definitely be going with sky blue.
The second dress, I will definitely there will definitely be a price tag on that one, but the first one will definitely be something good. Just so you can be very familiar with my work.
That's fine. Though,
Mm,
she says with a very wide grin, for the second one, definitely
yeah,
going to put a more magical touch to it.
that's fine. Mhm. I think um, a magical touch is good. How magical are we going?
She shrugs. Whatever you think would look best. Something fairy tale. And because I know that sometimes you might get inspired in the middle of something, because I was hoping for two in the long run. Something like we discussed for a ball gown, and then something that you think would look good on me casually.
Hmm.
She will open up her, walk over to her where she set down her purse on a
Hmm.
table, open it up, come back over, and put pull out a jar and then a bag and set it down. In the bag, it looks like sparkling pieces of joy and happiness, and there's blood in the jar.
He takes it. He looks.
So, how does Dross sound?
Perfect.
Is two Dross enough, or should I get more?
For what? I'm sorry.
For the second dress.
Oh, right. That depends on what material you want the second dress made out of. How nice you want it to look. The price is going to vary.
All right. I was thinking for the casual one, casual, something I could wear in public.
Okay.
Um, Material. Well, you're getting your silk from Caldwell, right?
Yeah.
How about that?
Spider silk is extremely expensive, and we won't go over how much I actually had to pay to make the actual dress I'm going to make for you. But usually, wow. You know what? You should actually know. It'll show an appreciation for the time and effort that goes into people that actually do this for a living. Um, he will pull out a magazine for some high end stuff, regular cotton. You see, oftentimes when people pay for dresses and such as they're made, they're not paying for the time, the effort, the the manpower, the way it has to be merchandised, and ideas and plagiarism and things like that. All that put aside, um, dresses are actually quite expensive. Insofar as the style that you want, it would be mm, a simple dress. You said cotton, magical forest, 20 dress.
20 draws for the second dress?
Not
She nods at that. Well, four draws up front, and then 16 upon delivery.
sure.
Sounds good. She will leave the four dross she just put in front of you. That jar of blood, by the way, is four dross by itself.
Hmm.
And she will nod. And I can't wait to see what magical touches you bring.
You'll like it. I'm good at what I do.
I believe you. All right, out of game, I have removed the four dross from my sheet for you.
Hmm.
And you now have four dross in the form of centaur blood.
Hooray. um, being that this is his first actual project commission, um, it actually doesn't get spent. It goes on a shelf.
All right. Uh, you can add that to your sheet's dross tracker because
Gotcha.
it is done and yours.
Hooray. With that, He starts, diddling and doodling in his book, making some last minute changes and adjustments to what he's going to hopefully try to create for you. And with that, if there's anything else you want to discuss in this scene, Ephraim will talk you up to going out to for a bite to eat.
And she would do it in a heartbeat.
All right. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been a very changeling scene.